Hey team, in this video I'm going to be talking to you about the video system changes that we've got coming up in the next couple of weeks and even starting this week. A lot of the change that we're going to make is not going to be perfect, and that's okay. There's an old business adage that says done is better than perfect, and that's really where I'm leaning into right now. I know that there's going to be changes, I know that there's going to be some challenges, but I think as long as we can band together and really grow together and kind of learn all of these new things, we're going to grow really, really well, and we're going to grow really, really strong. So I encourage you to get involved in the process. If you've got questions, make sure that you ask someone. Ask me, ask Ben Gibson, ask in the video channel in Slack. If you see any inspirational material that you think could be really helpful, post it up in the video team Slack channel, because I'm sure that not only you will find it inspirational, but maybe even it might improve someone else's service as well. You may remember at the start of the year, at the creative launch, I talked with the production team as a whole about the direction that we want video to be going, away from a traditional long shot, broadcast kind of static approach into a more cinematic, engaging approach. This change that we're instituting from this week onwards is kind of the first step towards that. We're going away from an interlaced video format to a progressive video format. What that means is interlacing in a given frame of video content. It will split the video up into lines, into every other line, and then it will take a matching one and attempt to interlace them together. What this means is that in fast motion, it can be easy for those to become misaligned, whereas progressive takes that entire image all at once and sends it out as a single image, resulting in hopefully better video playback quality. The other change that we're making is moving from 25 FPS or even lower, 24 potentially, up to 30 across the board with all of our video systems. This is going to allow us to have a much smoother playback through motion and hopefully reduce a lot of that like jitter effect as people are tracking across the stage. As you track with the person on stage, you'll be able to remove a lot of that jittery motion that's seen on the output end at someone's TV. So yeah, it should be a much smoother, more progressive and less interlaced video. So you might be asking, what are some of the changes that we have made that are actually specific to making this change happen? It's obviously a whole lot of little pieces fitting together to make an entire systematic change like this. The first one is obviously changing the cameras. Our JVC cameras just could not put out 1080p 30 FPS. It was literally impossible for them. And if we wanted to do that, we'd need to change our cameras. That's one of the driving factors here. Our entire switching system actually needed to change as well. So on the Blackmagic switcher, I've changed that from a I59 video format to P30. Then obviously Resi needs to take in 30 FPS naturally, and there's a whole bunch of background that goes into that. But anyway, Resi is up to date. vMix is all up to date. All of the multimedia inputs, all of the multimedia outputs are also up to date. So basically everything that we can possibly do is sending P30 FPS. Now, you may see P2997. That's totally okay. It's within spec for what we need. There's just different video formats that float around, and some of it's legacy and some of it's new, and some of it's for broadcast and some of it's for internet and some of it's for TV, like who knows. Anyway, if it's 2997 or 30, we're within the ballpark. What are some of the growth areas that I can foresee us having to work on into the future? Obviously, new cameras mean new camera skills. We're changing fundamentally how we operate our cameras, and I'll get into that into that system a little bit in the following video that talks about this camera specifically behind me. But there's new camera operating techniques. I want to see our video team grow just from pure bums on seats. We need more camera operators. We need more video switchers. We're gonna move towards instituting a video director role to separate out the directing and the switching components of that video switcher, which is really, really complex as it is. And then you have to think about, oh, what camera shots am I taking as well? Then really soon, we're gonna start looking at handheld camera operation. For the first week, we definitely won't be doing that. We just don't have the time to do the training. But that's one of the areas that I want to really ramp into quickly, is what can we do with a handheld camera, with the stage that we have, and the kind of movement areas that we have to work within. So that'll be coming up as well, and it'll be a big learning curve for us to kind of get in front of the people, out of the production booth. It's really exciting, and then as we add more and more cameras and get more and more complex, how can we really add the value to the congregation online that's watching, and really enhance their worship experience and their preacher engagement experience as well. And the final growth area is a personal challenge for you specifically. How are you worshiping when you're behind the camera? How are you worshiping when you're behind the switching console? What are you doing to add creativity and finesse to the things that you're doing? At our production day, we talked about the fact that we're builders and we're priests. That's so true, and it has real implications. So how well do you know the song? Are you giving your best through all of our services? I know it's hard to hit through the 10 a.m. service when you've been already sitting at that console for 2.5 hours, but giving our best every single time is a sacrifice of worship. Coming prepared, knowing what the songs are, knowing where those feature instrumentals are, knowing who's leading. These are all key parts to us really giving our best and presenting both Nexus, the church, and our own service in sacrifice to the Lord. If you want to know more about the camera behind me, I'll be shooting a separate video on that specifically with some of the tips for operation and startup and shutdown procedures as well. So click through to that.